I went to an early press screening for Weapons, and oh wow, if you thought Barbarian was a lot, you have no idea.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Where are our children?
Hi, I'm Lady Genevieve, and on my channel I talk about entertainment media. Today I'm going to be reviewing the new Zach Cregger film, Weapons. Before this, Zach Cregger has been best known for writing and directing Barbarian. He's also married to Aquamarine.
Hello? Dad? Daddy? Shell phone.
One of the things that was really fun about Barbarian was having no idea what was going to happen. I barely knew a premise, and you just got to experience that roller coaster unspoiled. And the same can be said for Weapons, except the budget's increased significantly, so they've been able to hire more actors and get more equipment to elevate the overall visual style of the film. The cinematography is so much more elegant. You have a lot of POV shots, tracking characters through the spaces they travel in. Compared to Barbarian, the overall stakes, action, drama, and emotional impact have grown significantly. If you can watch Weapons without knowing anything else from me or any other film critic beforehand, just go see the film, and then you can come back here to chat about the experience that is Weapons. If you've seen Barbarian, you should remember that they did a perspective shift midway through the film, and that new perspective eventually caught up with the first perspective you had already been following. That is a narrative concept Zach Cregger repeats for this film, except it happens multiple times. And with each new character, you are able to receive a few more puzzle pieces about what the heck is going on in here on this day. My pull quote is as follows: Zach Cregger delivers a masterfully designed story with enough drama, mystery, scares, darkly funny interjections, and an unexpected emotional heartbeat to leave every moviegoer exhilarated and satiated. The premise of Weapons reads, one night, 17 children, all but one child from Justine Gandy's classroom, simultaneously wake up and run off into the night. Justine and the rest of the community are left questioning who or what is behind the children's disappearance. Now, normally when I do opening weekend reviews, I will do a spoiler-free section, and then I do a spoiler section, but watching this movie unspoiled is so essential to getting the experience as it was intended. So I'm actually not even going to do a full spoiler section. I'm offering some broad feedback, but a lot of things I am going to keep to myself because I think it's that important to maximize the viewing experience. I'll put it to you this way. If you didn't see Barbarian, so you have no frame of reference for a lot of what I've been talking about, have you seen Bong Joon-ho's Parasite? You know how that movie is sort of going on, it's laying groundwork, it's introducing you to the many people in the ensemble, and then boom, the thing happens. I'll just say one sentence in case you haven't seen Parasite either. What is really in the kitchen?
No. Just stop. Just give me a sec.
And then after that, now Parasite is all high octane, adrenaline, the escalation has escalated.
Can you shed some light on the current situation?
Well, that broad concept and structure is also applicable to Weapons. I hesitate to tell you who acted their face off the hardest in Weapons because that would be a plot spoiler, but if you've seen the film, I'm sure you already know who I'm indirectly talking about. Now, if you haven't seen the film, but you're feeling nosy, I will offer a sort of indirect, roundabout way of telling you who it was that acted their face off the most out of this ensemble. Will the real Elia Kazan haters please stand up or maybe show your disdain by sitting down stone-faced when the Academy gives him an award? Or maybe raise your hand if you're married to one of James Cameron's leading men. I feel like at least one of my subscribers will know exactly who I'm talking about on that description alone.
It makes no damn sense. Compels me though.
Weapons is a testament to the theatrical experience because the streaming-only viewers have rotted their brains so much that they have no patience to sit through a film like this and get to the really exciting part if they're just going to watch it for the first time on streaming. And if you believe I'm being too harsh in that description, I've heard people say these things in real life, off of social media. I've heard people say that TikTok has rotted their attention span. I've heard someone say that they tried to watch Barbarian for the first time on a streaming platform, but they only got midway or slightly less than midway through and they didn't finish, so they missed all of the drama. First of all, finish Barbarian. Second of all, watch Weapons. You have to go on that journey. Trust the hype, believe the hype, because in this case, it's warranted. Even if you think you're not ready to watch a horror film at the cinema, if you like mysteries, if you like whodunits, which obviously I do,
An envelope of cash.
then I implore you to watch Weapons. AI could never make this. I am full of anger about AI right now, so any chance I have to speak ill of it, I will do exactly that. The water deprivation and contamination caused by those stupid AI data processors, what are we doing here? Blue whales have stopped singing because they're starving to death, the world is on fire, and I need more of you to fight back. And without giving away too many plot spoilers, this is a movie that cheerleads fighting back against the most evil, nefarious people and ideology, the notion of selfishly caring about yourself and no one else. This movie kicked that selfish manner of thinking right where it needs to be kicked. The creative engineering required to conceptually conceive of this story, map everything out. There has to be a diagram somewhere from earlier in development. Zach Cregger, please let me see the diagram. Not for social media or anything like that. Just let me watch it so I can simply observe the grand design. I also got the sense from watching this that there's definitely a real love for classic horror stories, or maybe just specifically Stephen King's works or the adaptations of his stories. You had references to The Shining, and I definitely felt like there were certain visual and thematic overlaps with it. And when I say it, I'm referring to the killer clown story, not the pronoun it. One of the benefits of the storytelling structure is that by laying the groundwork, you are building the world of this story and offering a lot of strong character work. I get the impression that people who are outside of the horror-loving audience perceive horror as just being about scaring viewers, but in actuality, horror is like any other genre when it comes to there being plenty of room to do deep emotional exploration and development of characters if the storytellers creating that story decide to prioritize those things. For Weapons, you follow a very deep exploration of some of the people who are impacted by this horrific event of these children going missing. The first two characters in particular are prime examples of this profound empathy in the storytelling to explore who these characters are and the flaws that they have. Justine, the teacher who had the majority of her students go missing overnight, she is such a compelling and flawed character. On the one hand, she deeply cares for her students, but on the other hand, she has a very significant drinking problem, so when this horrific thing happens, her worst tendencies and coping mechanisms start to surface. And Archer, who is the father of one of the students who went missing, he is adamant that Justine is to blame for this and that the police aren't doing enough to investigate her. So he wants to take it upon himself to try to figure out exactly what happened to these children and where they went. He also has to grapple with the guilt of feeling as though he didn't express his love for his child enough while he had the chance to do so. You can really feel how much love and care has been put into developing each of these major characters in the ensemble and presenting them through these equally nuanced and empathetic lenses. I believe that another reason why Weapons is being received so well from a critical perspective, and even the audience at my early screening was audibly reacting throughout the entire film and really appreciating the various dramatic or funny things that would happen, it's because of how layered the storytelling and entertainment value are. On the one hand, at the most superficial epidermis of what you're seeing, there's this indulgent quality in the element of spectacle. Anytime a camera goes whoosh, which is the more informal way I refer to dynamic, well-designed, and executed cinematography, that's more visually stimulating to an audience. Basically, every time you end one chapter of a specific character's point of view, they end on some sort of dramatic cliffhanger. There's also this notable escalation once you get midway through the film. There are some truly jaw-dropping, but also kind of darkly funny, horrific things that happen. Also, for any of the people of color who are watching this review, more than once I would see a character do something and I would go, are you seriously doing that right now? Where are the survival instincts? you see something scary and you're putting your face closer to the scary thing. And I'm not going to lie, that was really funny for me to watch because I would never. I'm leaving. I'm already gone. I wouldn't even be in that situation in the first place. So this dramatic spectacle, this leaning more in the direction of a maximalist style of filmmaking, which I happen to love. I mean, Baz Luhrmann is one of my favorite filmmakers. I love Technicolor, so of course I love maximalism. You don't need to intellectually analyze a film's narrative to appreciate spectacle and maximalism. Now, that being said, there is also a lot more you can dig into as you watch Weapons. If you do like to approach art in that way, engage in discussions of the material, there's a lot to dig into. When I got to the end of the film, it really solidified in my mind what was being addressed thematically speaking. And that's when this very specific type of emotional response emerged, which really took me off guard because I was in very different emotional places when other characters were the main chapter of this or that chapter before that point. At the beginning of the film, when they first introduce you to Justine, the teacher who had most of her students disappear overnight, there's this strong feeling of distrust among a lot of the parents towards her. And if you want to read more deeply into that, you could liken this dynamic to any number of instances when it's been very easy for people to hop on a proverbial witch hunt or hate train, whatever your preferred verbiage, towards a woman. Despite the fact that at this point in the story, you don't know if she was responsible. You hardly know anything. The movie only just started. So overall, I cannot recommend Weapons enough. Zach Cregger did very well. Please don't turn out to be a horribly mean or unethical person because I would really like to keep following your art. Everyone go see Weapons, enjoy the roller coaster ride, the mystery, the drama, because Weapons is offering all of that and more. And I'm about to mildly spoil something, but out of context. I need to show you what one of the publicists was handing out after the film, because the shirt, we got these before the film, but what I'm about to show you, this came after the film. This, can you see this? This is so twisted and funny. I even asked the publicist, is this real? And they said yes. This is by far the funniest thing I've been given from a film's marketing. I can't, they really gave this to me.
The chocolate Leo. If I had the fucking pillar in my head.